As we grow older, the golden years provide us with a valuable opportunity to pause and reflect. This phase invites us to embrace the things that truly matter and release the burdens that weigh us down. For those of us in our later years, happiness isn't found in the things we acquire or the achievements we've accumulated. Instead, it's rooted in inner peace, fulfilling relationships, and the simple joys of being present. To fully enjoy this stage of life, it's essential to let go of certain things, burdens that once served a purpose, but now hinder our ability to find the joy and tranquility we deserve. Let's explore 5 key things we must release to embrace a happier, more peaceful life. First and foremost, we must release resentment. Resentment is like a thief that quietly steals our peace, joy, and even our health. It often takes root deep within us, nurtured by memories of hurtful words, actions, or betrayals. Over time, it becomes a heavy burden, blocking our ability to live fully and love freely. The strange thing about resentment is that it feels familiar, almost as if we're protecting an old wound. We might think that by holding on to it, we're punishing the person who wronged us, but in reality, we're only hurting ourselves. Holding on to resentment is like gripping a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else, but all it does is burn our own hand. That anger and bitterness can seep into the quiet moments of our lives, showing up unexpectedly in our thoughts, and sometimes manifesting in physical health problems like stress, anxiety, or heart issues. But the true cost of resentment is emotional. It steals our freedom, locking us in the past and blocking our potential for peace. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the hurtful actions of others, nor does it mean inviting them back into our lives. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, a declaration that the pain inflicted no longer has control over us. It's a decision to release the anger and hold on to peace instead. Imagine the freedom of truly letting go of that resentment, of setting down the burden of past hurts and watching them fade into the distance. Letting go doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with acknowledging the hurt, grieving it, and giving yourself permission to feel whatever emotions arise. Yet even in those moments of pain, remember you don't have to live there. The hurt may be part of your story, but it doesn't define the rest of your journey. By forgiving, we reclaim our power, refusing to let past pain dictate our lives. Each small step toward forgiveness is an act of self-love that opens the door to a more peaceful, joyful present. Another crucial thing to let go of is past sorrow. As we age, we often find ourselves reflecting on moments of happiness as well as moments of deep sadness, lost opportunities, broken relationships, and the absence of loved ones. It's natural to carry those sorrows with us, but when we dwell too much on the past, we miss the beauty of the present and the promise of what still lies ahead. Letting go of sorrow doesn't mean erasing it or pretending it never existed. It's about accepting that life is a collection of both light and shadow, of joy and pain, and choosing to focus on the moments that continue to bring us joy. The past, with all its heartache, is part of our story, but it doesn't need to define our future. Life is about learning how to carry the memories without letting them weigh us down. Think of the garden after a storm. Some branches may be broken, flowers may have been trampled, and the soil may be scattered. Yet with time and care, new life will grow. The same can happen in our hearts. Our sorrows may have left their marks, but they don't have to control our present or future. If we make room for it, new joys can bloom. Letting go of sorrow begins with acceptance, accepting that what happened can't be changed, that loss is part of living, and that grief is a sign of how deeply we've loved. But we must also accept that we have the strength to move forward, that the lessons of the past can be honored without staying rooted in the pain. When we focus on the present, we allow ourselves to experience the small, quiet joys of everyday life. The warm sun on our face, the laughter of loved ones, the simple beauty of nature. These moments are gifts, ones that sorrow often blinds us to if we let it. Part of letting go of sorrow is reframing the way we view our past. Instead of seeing it as a collection of wounds, we can choose to view it as proof of our resilience. We've endured heartache, survived loss, and continued to move forward. Each sorrow has made us stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Letting go doesn't mean dismissing the pain. It means acknowledging that our story is much more than its hardest chapters. A common fear when letting go of sorrow is that we'll lose the connection to what we've lost. However, letting go of grief doesn't mean letting go of love. The love remains. It is a part of us, quietly shaping who we are. Focusing on the love, rather than the pain, is a powerful way to continue honoring those we've lost without letting sorrow steal our present happiness. By letting go of resentment and past sorrows, we create the space for peace and joy to fill our hearts. It's an invitation to live fully in the moment, to embrace the love and beauty around us, and to look forward to the potential of each new day. In life, we often find ourselves shaped by the people, events, and experiences we've encountered. Yet, there are moments when we must let go of the past, not as an act of betrayal to our memories, but as a step toward living fully in the present. Releasing the weight of past sorrow is an act of bravery. It's about acknowledging that while you carry your memories with you, they do not have to define you. It's recognizing that you deserve to live with joy, not anchored by what you've lost. You are not the sum of your grief, but rather you are defined by how you choose to embrace what is still here and now. As you stand in this moment, give permission to the past to rest. It has already had its place in your heart, your tears, your thoughts. The time has come to turn toward the sunlight of today, to allow the shadows of yesterday to fade into the background. Life waits for you, and it's time to step into it fully. The present holds so much beauty, and it is yours to claim. Let go of what no longer serves you, and embrace the richness of what is before you. Throughout our lives, we may find ourselves surrounded by many people, some who come and go, some who stay longer, and some whose significance we only come to understand with time. When we're young, we often measure our worth by the number of friends, colleagues, and acquaintances we have. We may even believe that the more connections we form, the more fulfilled our lives will be. However, as we grow older, we begin to realize that it's not about the quantity of relationships we maintain, but the quality that truly matters. There are some relationships that no longer serve us, and that's okay. Not everyone we meet is meant to be in our lives forever. Time has a way of revealing who truly adds value to our lives and who may bring negativity, tension, or emotional weight. By the time we reach later stages in life, we find ourselves standing at a crossroads. Do we continue carrying relationships that drain us? Or do we choose to let go and make space for those that nurture and uplift us? Letting go of relationships that have run their course isn't an act of bitterness. It's an act of self-respect. You begin to honor your own needs and recognize that your time and energy are precious. The people who truly care about you will understand your decision. In truth, those who don't will never have been invested in your well-being to begin with. It's not always about ending things in conflict. It's about prioritizing your own mental and emotional health. Consider the relationships that truly matter. Who are the people who lift you up, who make you feel seen, heard, and loved? Hold on to them. And then, consider the relationships that weigh you down, those that leave you feeling unseen or unimportant. These are the connections you might choose to step away from, not with ill will, but to protect your peace. By doing so, you make space for deeper, more meaningful bonds to develop, whether with new friends, with family, or with yourself. At times, the fear of letting go can be overwhelming. You may worry about hurting others or feel guilty for stepping away from what's familiar. But remember, caring for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. The people who genuinely care about you will understand your choice to prioritize your well-being. Those who don't were never truly invested in your happiness in the first place. As you reflect on your relationships, Remember that life is far too short to spend it with people who don't recognize your worth. Surround yourself with those who celebrate you, who help you become the best version of yourself. Meaningful relationships don't need to be numerous. They just need to be real. One true friend who listens, a family member who shares moments of joy, or even a neighbor who offers kindness. These are the relationships that add meaning to your life. Letting go of superficial relationships doesn't have to feel like a loss. In fact, it's a gain. It's the freedom from negativity, from obligation, and from carrying the burden of connections that no longer bring joy. By making room for real companionship, you open yourself to love, laughter, and the kind of relationships that make life worth living. As time goes on, we may find ourselves holding on to titles or roles that once defined us. These titles, job titles, achievements, social standing, often provided us with a sense of identity and purpose. They were symbols of our success, sacrifices, and contributions. But as the years pass, we might start to realize that these symbols can become a weight, obscuring our understanding of who we truly are. Letting go of the need for validation through titles or pride doesn't mean dismissing our past achievements. Rather, it's a recognition that who we are now is not defined by what we once were, but by the person we are in this moment. Titles, while significant at certain points in our lives, are fleeting. They do not define your worth or your potential. The real value lies in the legacy you create today through your actions, your kindness, and your presence. Consider the weight that pride can carry when it's rooted in past accomplishments or comparisons. A retired executive, still clinging to the title of their former position, might feel a sense of accomplishment, but also a disconnection from the present moment. Clinging to outdated titles can prevent us from embracing the beauty of who we've become and the limitless potential of who we still can be. There's freedom in letting go of titles. It allows you to be just you, without expectations or labels. By releasing the need to prove your worth through external validation, you make room for deeper, more authentic connections with others. You become more approachable, more real, and more fulfilled. Letting go of pride doesn't diminish your dignity or the significance of your past. Rather, it enhances your ability to embrace the present moment, to connect meaningfully with others, and to live with authenticity and purpose. As you reflect on the story you want to tell with your life, remember that the most profound achievements are not the titles you've held, but the love you've shared, the wisdom you've imparted, and the lives you've touched. This is the legacy that truly defines you. Life is often shaped by the quietest moments, whether it's repairing a relationship, learning from a grandchild, or offering comfort to a friend in their time of need. These are the experiences that truly transform us, but they often go unnoticed amidst the noise of everyday life. When we release the weight of our pride, it's not a loss. It's a courageous act of self-awareness. Letting go of past hurts and unnecessary burdens allows us to step into a new chapter with confidence, free from the past and open to the possibilities of today. Your worth doesn't stem from the titles you've held or the achievements you've ticked off your list. It comes from who you are today, shaped by everything you've been through, both the triumphs and the struggles. As you let go of the need to define yourself by past accomplishments, you'll realize that who you are right now is more than enough. There's no need for pretense or to hold up a facade. Embrace the freedom that comes with being your authentic self, just as you are. You've earned this freedom, this authenticity. Forgiveness is another essential piece in this journey. It's one of the most profound forms of healing, yet it's often the hardest to practice, especially when it comes to forgiving ourselves. Throughout life, we collect a mix of joyful moments and painful scars, mistakes, regrets, and relationships that didn't turn out the way we hoped. These wounds, if not addressed, can weigh us down, keeping us anchored in pain and preventing us from embracing the peace we deserve. Forgiving yourself is perhaps the most overlooked but necessary form of self-compassion. We tend to hold ourselves to impossible standards, replaying the moments where we feel we failed, failed to act, to say the right words, or to live up to our own or others' expectations. Over time, this self-blame can turn into a relentless inner critic, reminding us of every shortcoming. But remember, being human means being imperfect. Perfection was never the goal. Growth, learning, and love are what truly matter. Forgiving yourself means accepting that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. It's about embracing your humanity and recognizing that each misstep is part of your growth. Imagine speaking to your younger self, not with anger or disappointment, but with the same gentleness you would show a child learning to walk. Remind yourself that you were always trying, even when things didn't go as planned. You can't change the past, but you can choose to look at it with compassion instead of criticism. Forgiving others can be just as transformative. We've all been hurt by someone, whether it was a friend who betrayed us, a loved one who let us down, or even a stranger whose actions left an impact. These wounds often linger because we revisit them, holding on to the pain as though it will somehow right the wrong. But holding on to anger or resentment only weighs us down. It's like tying yourself to a rock and expecting the other person to feel the burden. The only person who suffers is you. Forgiving others doesn't mean excusing their behavior or pretending the hurt didn't happen. It's about releasing the hold their actions have on your peace of mind. It's about letting go of the anger that keeps you chained to them so you can move forward. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurt you. It's a gift to yourself. It's a declaration that you're no longer letting the past define your present. It's important to remember that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. There will be times when the old pain resurfaces, when the memories sting as if they happened yesterday. But remind yourself that forgiveness is an ongoing practice, one that becomes easier over time. With each step, the grip of the past loosens just a little more. Eventually, the pain feels lighter, the anger fades, and your peace grows stronger. Perspective is also key in forgiveness. Consider the humanity of those who hurt you. Were they acting out of their own pain, ignorance, or fear? This doesn't excuse their actions, but it can help you see them as flawed individuals rather than villains. Often, understanding the why behind someone's behavior can make it easier to let go of the what. In forgiving them, you're not condoning their actions. You're choosing to stop carrying the weight of the hurt they caused. Ultimately, forgiveness is a powerful act of freedom. It frees you from the prisons of guilt, anger, and resentment that keep you tied to the past. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing peace over pain. Whether it's forgiving yourself for past mistakes or releasing someone who hurt you, each act of forgiveness brings you one step closer to a lighter, freer life. Remember, forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it can transform your future. It clears the way for joy, connection, and a sense of wholeness that cannot exist when you hold on to resentment. You've carried these burdens long enough. Now is the time to set them down. Forgive yourself for the moments you didn't know better. Forgive others for their imperfections, just as you hope to be forgiven for yours. In doing so, you step into a life that is not defined by what has been lost or broken, but by what still remains to be cherished and celebrated. Life, especially as we age, offers us the incredible gift of clarity, the chance to shed the burdens we've carried and focus on what truly matters. Letting go isn't about losing, it's about gaining clarity, peace, and the freedom to live authentically. Every time you release resentment, you reclaim your peace. Every time you let go of past sorrows, you make space for gratitude. By walking away from relationships that drain you, you strengthen the ones that nourish your soul. When you let go of empty pride, you find grace and humility. And when you forgive yourself and others, you open your heart to a freedom that only love and compassion can provide. This stage of life, though it may feel like the autumn years, is filled with the harvest of wisdom, resilience, and perspective. Letting go of what no longer serves you creates space for deeper connections, quieter joys, and a peace that transcends the noise of the world. Imagine a life where your heart is light, your mind is unburdened, and your spirit is free to roam. That life is possible, but it begins with the courage to let go. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Each breath you take is a reminder that the present is a gift waiting to be unwrapped. Open it. Cherish it. In the end, what matters most isn't what you've held on to, but what you've released in order to make room for love, joy, and peace. This chapter of your life is yours to write, unburdened by the past and full of the promise of what's to come. You have the power to step forward, lighter and freer than ever, into a life that isn't just lived, but fully embraced. So let go. Let yourself live. Let these lessons guide you toward living authentically, toward embracing the moments that truly matter. Share your reflections and insights in the comments below. Let's support one another on this journey, embracing the power of forgiveness and the freedom it brings. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires you to live your best life. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.